It's a beautiful day. Hey, 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 hey. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Hey, 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 it's a beautiful day.
Well, we're on the road again, folks, and thanks for joining us for Our Town. We're heading to the Outback and the Murchison region of WA. We're ready to explore the real WA Outback, which is full of history and rich in stories. From Yalgoo to Sandstone, we're going on an adventure, and we're taking you with us. The rugged, beautiful landscapes of the Murchison have attracted visitors from all walks of life, and it's a region that's becoming more popular by the day. An ancient landscape guides you through some of the most amazing real Australia country you'll ever see. And in this part of the world, there's just so much to experience. Yalgoo is a part of the mining pathways, and for over a century, this town has experienced the mining booms and downturns, and today is home to just 120 people. This is where the Outback begins. The Shire of Yalgoo covers just over 33,000 square kilometres, and from late July to September, the landscape turns into a field of many colours, with wildflowers in full bloom. And as you make your way around Yalgoo, you're reminded of the town's strong history. This quaint little church was opened in 1912, and it was built by the famous West Australian architect cum priest, Monsignor John Hawes. The chapel was built for the Dominican sisters at a time when Yalgoo was a small gold mining town in decline. It's well worth taking some time to explore this historic town, a town whose history has been proudly preserved so that visitors can see what it was really like back in the early days of an outback town. Further evidence of Monsignor John Hawes' influence in this part of WA is Mulungata Station, 60 k's north of Yalgoo.
We have wanted to own a station for about 30 years, and we tried buying this about 3 years ago and were totally devastated when we missed out on it then. And luckily enough, we ended up being able to have a second go at it, and we got it this time. So it's something we've been wanting to do for a very, very long time.
Originally a sheep station, Mulungata was built by John Hawes in 1915. With the land originally being leased in 1897. The heritage-listed Mulungata Station homestead played a key role in the development of the Yalgoo district and is the only private property in Western Australia to have a John Hawes-designed homestead. So where'd all the materials come from, Jo?
There's actually a quarry about a kilometre just up the back of the house, and so they would have gone up there and had a big team of people and brought it back down on wagons, and it all got quarried on site.
Kidding.
Yeah, so it was actually all put together with mud.
What?
Yeah, so behind all of the cement you can see on the outside, there's actually mud.
Unreal. Mulungata is on just over 45,000 hectares of sheep country, and this old home, consisting of 6 bedrooms, has been extensively renovated so that visitors can be part of a real station experience.
We're planning on opening up the homestead for station stays to be able to offer visitors a really genuine station experience. We have already got and developed a campground here, and we have also got a tent or 2 that if people don't have their own equipment, they can actually just rent the tent for a night or a week if they want to, and also offer some station tours as well, because there are some beautiful spots around on the station that we would love to be able to show people.
So, Jo, you're keen to share your bush cooking knowledge with visitors to the homestead?
I certainly am, yes, and I will share my bush cooking knowledge with visitors anywhere, basically. So I do camp oven cooking demonstrations at four-wheel drive shows. I also go out doing Outback catering as well. Yeah, so the more people I can get out there doing things and learning how to cook out in the bush without all the modern technology, yeah, the better and the happier I am. This area is just so beautiful, and yet it is so little known about. And really, I'd like to be able to share it with other people so then they can come out and have the amazing experiences that I get to have as well.
It's a beautiful day.
On your travels throughout the Murchison, you're bound to come across some kind of wildlife. Whether it's birds or the likes of kangaroos and emus, this part of the state is well known to be home to all types of animals of the outback. We're at Pilrock Retreat in the Yargoo Shire at Paynes Find, a property dedicated to the rescue and rehabilitation of orphaned and injured wildlife. This place is a real gem of the Murchison.
Taking in orphaned and injured wildlife since 2011. The main purpose for us is to be able to release them back to the wild. So we start as a joey, nurturing them from what they've lost from their mum, taking them through a transition process through to release back to the wild.
So what's Lydia's story, Gal?
She came into us in April this year as a quite injured little orphan. Her mum had been hunted down inappropriately, so she had sort of a third chance. Now she's 6 months down the road, very strong, very healthy, and just starting her transition to the big world outside.
Perfect, so she's one of the real success stories then.
Absolutely, and yeah, definitely going to be out there beautiful and strong as a big kangaroo. Most rewarding part would be the final stage. Nurturing them through their transition is wonderful, but watching them go out that gate, heading for the native bushland and taking off as a strong, healthy animal back into the bush is just amazing. Being here is really special. We've got a lovely property, great opportunity for the wildlife to come in, be nurtured, and then be re-released as a strong, healthy animal. The stories that we do go through, we can invite people in to tell those stories around the table, have a cuppa, so anybody that's travelling past, you are most welcome to pop in anytime.
We're making our way through the Murchison and we hit station country and a place to stay with a difference. Welcome to Kirkalocka Station.
I grew up here. I was part of the family business as a child even, and as a teenager we'd come back and work here on the station. And in 2002 we were able to take on the lease here in our own right.
When you get to Kirkalocka, you're warmly welcomed by Jeff and Ann Pilkington, who really make you feel at home. If you're looking for a place to stop over, that's more than just a place to stay the night. If you're looking for a different experience, well, Kirkalocka is where you want to be.
We're in a very special location here, right on the Great Northern Highway, and it's very accessible for visitors. As a result, the business has grown and grown over the last 18 years or so, and we're now getting people come from all over the world and all around Australia. It's just been a great experience for us.
As well as some good old-fashioned hospitality, the accommodation on offer here is pretty cool, with a few options. You're welcome to stay in the homestead or the shearers' quarters. You can bring your own caravan, or you can even camp out under the stars. These shearers' quarters housed shearing teams for nearly a century. But nowadays, this corrugated iron building plays a big part in the outback experience. There's even a museum at Kirkalocka. The old rammed earth building houses a collection of items from days gone by as a special tribute to the men, women and children who have lived and worked at the station.
The best thing being here is the people we meet. We meet all sorts of different folks. We enjoy showing them our lifestyle and sharing their stories and maybe having a glass of wine or a beer in the evening, and we just have a wonderful time.
It's a beautiful day.
"48 kilometres west of Kew lies Walga Rock. At 5 kilometres in diameter and 1.5 kilometres in length, this is the third largest monolith in Australia after Uluru. Walga Rock is a site of deep cultural and spiritual significance, and it's here where you'll find the largest gallery of Aboriginal rock paintings in Western Australia. And these rich red ochre granite walls bear true testament to generations of Aboriginal people. Over many years, Walga Rock was a meeting place for Aboriginal people who came from all over Western Australia. Over thousands of years, paintings that represent Aboriginal culture have been painted here by visitors to the area. As you explore the rock walls, you'll come across a painting of a ship that visited the West Australian coast in the 17th century, a Dutch sailing ship, which asked the question, why is there a painting of a Western ship over 300 kilometres inland from the sea? Some people say that it signifies the first contact with Europeans by the Aborigines, but we don't quite know this for sure. And the greater area in and around Walga Rock is a fascinating place to visit and explore. You could spend hours exploring this part of the Murchison. It's pretty amazing. From Walga Rock, you can also drive into historic Kew and Mount Magnet. So make sure you spend some time and check out some of their attractions. Our journey continues and we make our way to Sandstone, a town fondly known as the Oasis of the Murchison, just over 3 hours drive from Kew. The Sandstone community consists of about 50 people and is well known for gold prospecting, mining and pastoral industries, and is a popular stop for tourists, especially during the wildflower season. Sandstone is right in the heart of the Lower Murchison, and there's some beautiful country around here. Back in the early 1890s, gold was first discovered about 20 k's out of town. So everywhere you look around this outback town, you'll see memories of its heyday, from the decade before World War I. The Black Range area was first settled in 1894, after a team of prospectors, including Ernest Shillington, first discovered gold nearby. After an influx of miners, it was declared a town in 1905 and gazetted as Sandstone the following year. From 1907 to 1913, Sandstone was home to between 3,000 and 5,000 people, with 4 hotels, 4 butchers, cafes, 2 banks and several stores. However, in 1919, only 200 people remained after the golden days of mining.
Started sort of in the early 1900s. Lately it's been with the modern gold detectors from the 80s onwards to now, and we get a lot of people come in the caravan park during the winter months, and they come from far and wide, some from Alaska, some from California, we've had them from Austria, and we get all the eastern staters as well. And they all seem to find a bit of gold, which makes their trip sort of viable. And it's a good environment, it's a good climate. You know, it gets a little bit cold in the winter, but it gets cold anywhere in the winter time. It gets hot in the summer, but that's the best time to prospect as far as I'm concerned, because there's no one around.
Today, Sandstone is the administration centre for the Shire, with the best time to visit between Easter and October. You can easily drive to Sandstone in a day, and when you get here, you're absolutely spoilt for choice for things to see and do. Now, stay right with us, because we'll be taking you on a guided tour of the town right after this short break.
It's a beautiful day.
There's a couple of trails you can do in and close to town. So first up, we're dropping into the Visitors Centre to get some help in mapping out our journey. Okay, so I've got my map. So first up on the agenda is the Sandstone Heritage Trail. The 18-kilometre self-guided tour features sites of historical and natural significance. So we're going to see what we can on foot, starting here at the Heritage Museum, which is also home to the Visitor Information Centre. As you walk around the museum, you get to experience what life was like in this area at the turn of the century. The Sandstone Heritage Museum was once a grocery store built in the 1940s, operating until 1981. The building later operated as a multi-purpose store that sold hardware, fuel and agricultural supplies, and is now the first place you should visit when you get to town. The original Post and Telegraph Office was built in 1909, during the peak of the town's gold mining boom years. The building included both an office and a postmaster's residence, and back then was operated by quite a few employees. In 1981, the town's general store relocated to the old post office building and operated side by side with the post office, where today basic postal agency services continue 3 days a week. On the edge of town, you come across Sandstone's former police station, which was built in 1965. It closed just 9 years later, and the old corrugated iron building next door was the policeman's house. Across the road from the old police station is the old primary school, also known as the Sandstone Remote Community School, which operated in the old Warden's Court building from 1923 to 2013. Built in 1907, this building witnessed many a cases that involved the likes of robbery, claim jumping and drunken disorderly. In 1908, the Black Range Chapel was built as a Roman Catholic church, known back then as St. Athanasius. A year later, in 1909, an adjoining school was built, and by 1911 had 60 students. As the population decreased, the convent closed in 1929 and the building was moved to Wiluna. The Roman Catholic Bishop of Geraldton visited the church in 1995, and after restoration in the same year, the building was vested in the Shire of Sandstone and became the Black Range Chapel. Now a non-denominational chapel, it's currently used for weddings, funerals and special occasions. And to round off our walking tour, we end up at the Heritage Cottage, built in 1923 by a couple of local pastoralists. The building is a typical example of a miner's cottage from this time, and generous donations from the Sandstone community give the interior of the building some real authenticity from that era. Time to get behind the wheel to discover some historical sites just outside of town. Time to hit the road. This is Contradiction Well, one of the many wells the state government sank throughout the area to encourage further exploration and settlement in the early 1900s. This well is one of only a few remaining and is thought to have been the town's first water supply. The heritage-listed former state battery is only one of 6 intact state battery installations remaining in WA, dating back to 1913 when there was 40. This battery was in continuous operation from 1908 through to 1982, and it was of great service to the miners. And it's highly valued by the local community as a lasting reminder of a landmark connected to the history of gold mining here. One of the most popular and best-known sites in Sandstone is London Bridge, believed to be around 350 million years old. The weathered volcanic rock is part of a larger formation stretching 800 metres and is a result of erosion in both hard and soft rock. And nearby is the Old Brewery, constructed by an Irishman by the name of J.V. Kearney in 1907, who recognised a good business opportunity presented by many thirsty miners who were working in the area. This underground cellar was an ideal place to store cold supplies throughout all months of the year. And the brewery supplied hotels in the area until the railway from Mount Magnet was opened in 1910. However, competition in supply then brought prices down, and it was forced to close later that year. All this exploring has made me pretty thirsty, and we've just happened to land at the National Hotel, originally built in 1907. The pub continues to be a popular resting place for locals and visitors to the region, and is the perfect spot to wrap up a day. Cheers. If you want to get amongst a real Outback experience, then a visit to the Murchison is one of the best ways to do it. But before you hit the road, make sure you grab a copy of the Gascoyne Murchison Outback Pathways guidebook, which you can do so via the website on your screen. It'll give you all the information you need to get around the region. Well, that's us for this week. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. Until next time, where we'll see you somewhere in WA.
It's a beautiful day.